Hello, and welcome to Vocabulary Unit 10. I'm your host, Mr. Warner, and I'm going to stop using this silly voice. So first vocab word is allure. Allure is a verb. It's something that you do, although most often you're going to hear it used as something like something is alluring, as opposed to directly as a verb where someone's trying to allure. But here we have allure magazine because the word allure means to entice, to tempt, to be attractive to. So allure magazine is going to give you all the tips on how to entice, to tempt, to be attractive to whoever it is you want to be attractive to. So that's why they're going to tell you how to get gorgeous skin and sexy new haircut so that you can be more alluring, so that you can allure more people. All right. Here are the synonyms and antonyms. Allure means to beguile, to tantalize, to draw someone in. If you repel, if you're turned off to them, then that's the opposite. For example, a beautiful woman or a handsome man, you might find them very alluring. You see them walk down the street and they allure you. They tempt you. They make you attracted to them. They attract you. Food also, though, could be very alluring. I see a giant chocolate cake and I find it alluring. I want it. I'm enticed by it. And our next word is askew. So here famously is the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and it is askew. Again, an adjective, so we're going to describe the building as askew. It could also be an adverb because you could walk in an askew manner. So askew means twisted to one side, crooked. But I can also look at something askew. I can look at you askew. I can look at you disapprovingly. So it's sort of how I tilt my head and I raise one eyebrow because I don't really like what you're doing. So this building is built poorly, so now it is askew. It is twisted, crooked, turned to one side. All right, covet. All right, so covet we can see means to desire something belonging to another. So that is a verb. It is something you do, but it's really something that you shouldn't do. So if we think about things like the Ten Commandments, and it says, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, or thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. You shouldn't want something that isn't yours. You shouldn't want to take from somebody else. So covet isn't stealing, but you would steal something if you coveted it and then decided to take it for yourself. All right, the next word is disheveled. So if you ever see Mr. Warner in the morning, he often looks disheveled. His desk is always disheveled, etc. So it is an adjective, and it means rumpled, mussed, hanging in disorder. So wrinkled clothes are disheveled. A house right after a wild party is disheveled. My desk is disheveled. Exponent. So now we know from math class what an exponent is when we're talking about like little number above another number, but in English class it has a different meaning. It's still a noun, it's still a thing, but in this case an exponent is someone who advocates or speaks up for a specific cause. So a lawyer should be an exponent for their client. Your guidance counselors act as an exponent for you because they speak up for you to make sure you get what you need when you're applying to college and etc. So a defender, a champion, or an interpreter who's going to speak for you when you can't speak for yourself. Lamentable. All right, so we remember Romeo and Juliet's full title is The Excellent and Most Lamentable Tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. And it is, so it's again an adjective. In that case, it's describing the tragedy. But in this case, it means to be regretted or pitied. So something is lamentable if we regret it, if it's to be pitied, if it's sad, if it's regrettable, if it's something we wished didn't happen. So most excellent and lamentable tragedy of Romeo and Juliet, because what happens is very, very sad. We wish that they hadn't died, but they did, and that makes their death lamentable. So examples, a terrible mistake is lamentable. You might lament something that you said when you were angry or when you weren't thinking. A misnomer, so nomer means name, and mis means wrong. Mis means off. So, as in misleading or misdirection is when you send someone the wrong way. So a misnomer is a misleading or incorrect or inaccurate name. So we see here a tiny dog whose name is Killer. Killer here is a misnomer because that dog couldn't kill anything. We think about Robin Hood's sidekick's name is Little John, but Little John is like 7 feet tall and really big, so his name is misleading. His name is a misnomer. Respite, so you see here this person has like this little hammock thing and they're lying down in it, they're relaxing, they're getting a bit of rest. So that period of relief or rest is a respite. So when you get the weekend off, that weekend off serves as a respite from all the work you have to do during the week. When you get February break, that week is a respite, a period of relief or rest. Retribution, okay? We've probably heard the word retribution before. You've certainly heard the phrase like what goes around comes around. Retribution is a repayment or a deserved punishment. So after you hurt someone, retribution would be if somebody else hurt you. It would be you got what was coming to you. You got what you deserved because of what you did. Sinuous. So we see here in this picture we've got this river, and the river is winding and twisting about. That means it is running a sinuous path. Right? So winding, that doesn't say winding, that says winding. Having many curves or lithe and flexible, that makes it sinuous. So we could talk about a sinuous road, you know, those roads on mountains where you have to twist and turn all the time. But we can also talk about someone's sinuous movements. If they're a dancer, a ballet dancer might have very sinuous movements where they're flexible and bending and twisting. A belly dancer moves in a very sinuous way. And that's it. Thank you for